Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me today to learn more about the public high school application process in New York City. It can be complex, but this presentation, I promise you, is going to have a lot of information. It's going to be packed, but you at least will be able to go back and reference the information that has been provided today. My name is Crystal, and today I'm going to be your presenter. Let's get started. There are over 400 New York City public high schools and over 700 programs. 9 specialized high schools, and 23 screened high schools. There are over 4 different types of public high schools in New York City. We have non-screened open public high schools, screened public high schools, specialized high schools, and charter high schools. Charter high schools I will touch a bit on it, but I will not include it in this presentation. It will be in a presentation of its own. 1, 2, 3 on this list all use the Myschools portal to apply, but not all will go on the application during the high school application process. Number 1, your non-screened open public high schools. These schools are less rigorous for the admissions process and they use the high school application. Number 2, screened public high schools. These schools have their own assessment for admission in addition to the high school application. Number 3, specialized high schools. These schools require the SHSAT, or the Specialized High School Admissions Test exam, for applying and registering. And number 4, the last one, charters, which also are DOE public schools, but they have a separate application process. And you'll find that on their website. I do provide the links and information to everything that is covered in this presentation throughout the presentation. Now, as you are applying to the schools of your interest, remember, when schools offer programs, you are applying to the program and not just the school itself. You'll be able to see what programs are offered on the Myschools portal or by visiting their direct website. It is important that you explore and learn about schools and why they might be a good fit for your students' area of interest. This also includes sports and athletics, early college prep programs, and school clubs. If you are curious about a school's team standing and athletic record, you can go to the PSAL site. I will show you how to use this site so you can actually look up a school. Let's look at that now. Okay, so this is PSAL, the Public Schools Athletic League. This is a site that you can go to if you are interested in an athletic program in a school and you want to see what teams that they actually offer and to see what their scores might be for the previous years. So you go over here to the top right hand corner where it says schools. You could type in a school that you want. I'm going to type in Townsend Harris and it comes up. Now, once it fully loads, it will say the teams that they actually have. I'm going to look up basketball girls varsity. And then it's going to be empty because the 2023-2024 season hasn't started yet. So I'm going to look at the previous years. It'll say what division they are. It'll show like over here a little picture. Sometimes I've seen schools where they don't actually have a picture. It might even say the coach's name, who the head coach is, the co-coach. Then when you look down here, it'll say, it'll give you all the games that Townsend Harris has played. And it'll show you what they scored in that game, who were they playing against, what was the score. And then if you click over here where it says standings, you can actually see what they rank on the list of the schools that they've played against. So Townsend Harris just happens to be at the top for 2022-2023 for the girls basketball varsity team. And that's basically it. That's how you would look up a school if you're looking for their teams. When you are exploring and learning about the New York City Public High Schools, there are 2 different ways that you can go about the process. There are 2 different websites provided by the New York City DOE. You have the first one, which is called schoolsearch.schools.nyc, which you can actually do to look for zone schools or nearby high schools, or you could go to the Myschools portal. Okay, so there are 2 websites that you can use to look for schools, but they both function a little bit differently. This is the myschools.nyc website. This site is going to be used to not only apply for schools from 3K to high school, but it also can be used to look through the directory. The other website is for finding a school, which is schoolsearch.schools.nyc. Here though, when you type in an address, it's going to give you what your zone schools are and alternative schools also in the area. So it just functions a little bit differently than the Myschools, which is more of a directory, and it's not going to tell you, well, this is your zone school. It just functions differently. So I pulled an address. I used a deli in Middle Village over here, just so we can see what it says. So when I typed in that address, it told me that PSIS 87 is the zoned middle school, the zoned elementary school and the zoned middle school. The zoned high school is Queens Metropolitan High School. And then it tells me what the nearby schools are. It's repeating the school that I just listed. It tells me there's also PSIS 119, Sacred Heart Catholic Academy. Now, even though this is a Catholic school, but because they offer the 3K and the UPK program, which is a DOE program, that's why it lists them here as other alternative options for 3K and PK. And it also says there's PS 49 Dorothy Bondwit in the area as well. These are not the zone schools, but these are other schools in the area. Now, if we go to the My Schools website, I would scroll down. I would go over here to school directory. We are interested in looking for high schools. Once it loads, you're going to go over here and you could type in your child's address, or you can also do a search by school name or the interest of the program that you're looking for. Over here, I'm going to type in the address that I'm using. Now, for both of these websites, I actually had to wait about like 10 minutes because both sites were just not functioning with any address that I was typing in. So I just had to close everything out and refresh the browser, and then it finally worked. Now I'm going to select the address. And since we're looking at high schools, it's going to only give me the list for high schools. So it's telling me that there's Metropolitan Expeditionary Learning School, Queens Metropolitan, Academy of Innovative Technology, and a bunch of other schools. And it filters, right now the default filter is by the closest distance. So these are 0.9 miles away, and then it keeps going down. It gets further and further away from the location that I actually typed in. It also gives you a view of the address that you typed in, which is right here, the home, and then it shows you in the area where these schools are at. Now you could either click it and it'll show you what that school is, or you can click on the school that you're interested in, and then it opens it up here as a marker on the map, and it shows you where that school is in relation to the home address that you typed in. And that's it for that. So we're just going to briefly just touch on that, and then I'll break it down further in another section. Let's take a look at Forest Hills High School more closely so you can see how this works via both websites. The high school application process is a lot different than what it used to be. Before, we used to just list our schools and apply. Now there are programs you actually have to apply to within the schools. Schools offer programs in the following 21 interest areas. They can cover animal science, architecture, business, communications, computer science and technology, cosmetology, culinary arts, engineering, environmental science, film and video, health professions, hospitality, travel and tourism, humanities and interdisciplinary, JROTC, law and government, performing arts / visual art and design, project-based learning, science and math, teaching, visual art and design. All this information also has been referenced from the New York City DOE admissions guide, which I am providing the link on the pages on the bottom. On the New York City Public High School application via Myschools, you can put down up to 12 different high schools. This includes both non-screened open and screened high schools. Specialized high schools do not use the high school application, but use the same Myschools portal. We will talk about this in detail in this presentation. Charter high schools are also not included on that high school application. They use a completely separate application of their own. When students are applying to admissions in any of the schools, they are grouped by two different categories. There are general education students, GE, or students with disabilities, SWD. For students that are GE, those are students who do not have IEPs, or students who have IEPs but recommend related services only, or whose current IEPs recommend special education instructional programming. Students with disabilities are students who are recommended for special education programming. for more than 20% of their academic program as indicated on the current IEP. This information has been provided by, again, the New York City Public Schools Admissions Guide. Let's go over some tips and suggestions to make your admission process a little bit easier. Number 1, use a calendar with reminder notifications to keep track of important dates. Number 2, create a daily and weekly plan to lay out what you're going to accomplish first, second, etc. This is especially important when you're applying for scholarships or have other additional items that are required for schools. Number 3, save important links in one area so you have quick and easy access to them. 4, make a list of your schools so you know what you need and where to focus your time and efforts on. Number 5, do not put schools on your application that you would not want to attend if you are accepted to it. Number 6, do not put too little schools in the event you are not accepted to any and it defaults to a zoned or local school. And last, number 7, go to an open house or a school fair to become more familiar with the schools you are interested in. Creating a plan is the best step in making this less stressful for you during the admissions process. Let's go over some important notes and where to get help. Here are some important notes. You will not see all the schools you are accepted into. You will only see the school you were accepted to that was closest to the top of your list. Here's an example of what I mean. Let's say you apply to 5 different high schools on your high school application. High school 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You received an offer from high school number 3. This means that high school number 1 and 2 did not send you an offer. So the school closest to the top was number 3 is the one that you received an offer. Even if high school number 4 did accept you, you will not see it because high school number 3, which is closer to the top, sent you an offer. It is important, as mentioned before, to put your local zoned high schools on your list, even though it is your zoned high school. Only because if the zoned school happens to overfill with accepted offers, it is better to put it on your list than to not have it on your list at all. If you need help, there are 3 different routes that you can go. The first one I highly suggest. Make an appointment with your child's guidance counselor. Either you can talk to them or your child can. It is important that you do ask your child to make an appointment so that they can also sit down with their guidance counselor one-on-one. You can also contact the Welcome Center at 718-935-2009. This is the number that was provided in the admissions guide for this year. You can also review the application guide from New York City, and here is the link. The high school application guide is available in multiple languages. During the high school application process, there are many important dates that you will have to take note of and put down in either your reminder or your calendar. High school application opens for all New York City public schools on October 3rd, 2023. The SHSAT exam registration opens also on October 3rd, 2023. Registration for specialized high school auditions such as Fiorello H. LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts opens October 3rd, 2023. Registration for screen schools and assessments open October 3rd, 2023. The SHSAT registration closes October 27th, 2023. High school application closes for all the New York City public schools on December 1st, 2023. Charter school applications open in October 2023, but the date has not yet been released. High school offers are released March 7th of 2024. As promised, I will provide all the links to everything that I have been referencing throughout the presentation. Here are some important links. Find a public high school through schoolsearch.schools.nyc. High school application portal and the SHSAT registration website, Myschools.nyc. Report card access at schoolsaccount.nyc. Learn more about specialized high schools at this link right here. Screened high schools, charter high schools, and the school lunch application I will go over each link with you so that you can get a better idea of how to work each website. Number 8 on our list is the charter application, or also referred to as the Common Online Charter School application. You can use one application to apply to all the charter high schools that they are interested in, or you can also go directly to each high school's website to get their application. If you want to access your child's attendance records, state exam scores, and class grades and performance, you'll have to log into your New York City Schools account, which is different from Myschools account used for applying to schools and programs. To view your child's records in the New York City Schools account, you will need to request a code from your parent coordinator if it hasn't been given to you already in order to add them to your account. Once they are added, you'll have access to view the information you need so you can use it for your applications. If you ever forget how to get your New York City Schools account, you can click on the link found on the My Schools webpage, which is right here. You can always go right there and it'll bring you to the New York City Schools account page. Now, let's review non-screened open public high schools. Non-screened open public high schools. These schools have a less rigorous process for admittance and include zoned and non-zoned schools. Placing these schools on your high school application in Myschools is all you need to do to apply. Each student is assigned a random number. You can go to the schools page on Myschools and look at last year's applicants to see how many students applied per seat, if there are any priority groups, and if any other information they might make available for you to view. There are some important notes about non-screened open public high schools. They do not request recommendation letters. They might have priority groups based on a diversity admissions process, meaning they'll offer priority seating or admissions for select groups based on specific criteria such as those who are low income, English language learners or ELLs, or emerging multilingual learners EMLs, are a child in the welfare system or live in temporary housing. Some schools offer a lottery process because of the number of applications received yearly exceeds the number of available seats. In this case, the school will use the random numbers assigned in a sequence order to offer students a seat in the school. Some schools may base offers on both priority groups and lottery once priority group seating has been met. Again, if you want to check your non-screened open public high schools, you can check for your zoned or nearby high schools using schoolsearch.schools.nyc or myschools.nyc. So this is Forest Hills High School. I did a search for it on the Myschools website, and this is how the page will look once you are trying to view the information for a specific school. Here on the map, it'll show you where the school is in relations to what borough and what district it is in. It'll tell you what grades the school offers, the address, their website, the email contact, what buses go there, their phone number, if they have any events planned, any additional resources and virtual tours that they might actually already have on schedule. It will also tell you the number of students at the school and what their daily schedule is. You can read a brief overview of the school, what their performance record is, academic-wise, what languages they offer, what advanced courses they offer, what diplomas are available at the school, what activities they have on site, which is usually really important if you want to look to see what they offer as far as like after school programs or maybe during the day programs, what school sports are offered, even dance is included, even though it's typically like an art, accessibility, and other features that are also at the school. Now, here's what's important, because we're talking about when you apply to school, you're actually applying to the program and not just the school itself. So Forest Hills High School has all these programs. They have a program called Zoned for students who are not specifically applying to a program, but just want to apply just generally to the school. And we're going to click that just so we can view it. And here it'll tell you the breakdown of what it means about being zoned and applying for the zoned program. Students accepted as part of the zone program will have Forest Hills High School as their zone school. These students will have access to the wide variety of classes, clubs, and activities as a member of the FHHS community. And that's basically, they kind of tell you like what the activities are and everything. For the admissions here, you can actually view the seats and demand last year. It says that the zone program was actually not filled. So a lot of the students that attended the school, I guess they must have applied to different programs within the school, and that's how the seats were filled. They weren't specifically zoned for the school. Over here it says like what your chances are. Your chances of an offer are a combination of the number of applicants per seat and your priority group for this program. So Forest Hills High School does offer priority groups for the zoned program. It also tells you what their admissions method is. Zone guarantee. Students who live within this school zone are guaranteed an offer to this program if they do not receive an offer to a higher choice. So that means exactly like what I was saying. If there's something else that you have put before it, and if you don't receive an offer for that one, then it'll go to this one. But you know what an important note is, of course, if the school happens to be overly full because there was too many acceptances, then there will still not be a seat for the zone seating. To see your child's zone school, go to your student's profile in Myschools and scroll down to zone school. So this is the zone program. Now, there are some programs that have specific criteria just to apply to them. Like, let's say if we click on this one, Academy of Chinese Studies at Forest Hills High School. This program is available to students who possess oral fluency in Chinese language. So if your child is not fluent in Chinese language, they cannot apply to this program. So you'll have to look at each program to see what it is that they require, and then you can also see the seats and demand. For this program, unlike the zone program, they had more applicants than available seating. So once they filled up, they had students that were not accepted to the program because there just wasn't enough seats to offer. And that's basically how you will look at the programs within the school and be able to determine if your child can actually apply to that program. Even if your school offers free lunch for all students, it is important that you still fill out the school lunch application. You can do this in either paper form or online at myschoolsapp.com/home/pick-district. This is something schools use to determine free lunch eligibility and income of students for designated priority seating. Screened public high schools. There are 23 screened public high schools throughout the 5 New York City boroughs. In Manhattan, you have Eastside Community School, New Explorations into Science, Technology, and Math High School, Bard High School Early College, Gramercy Arts High School, New York City iSchool, Institute for Collaborative Education, School of the Future High School, Frank McCourt High School, Beacon High School, Manhattan/Hunter High School. In the Bronx, you have University Heights Secondary School, Westchester Square Academy, Bronx Early College Academy for Teaching and Learning, Young Women's Leadership School of the Bronx, Intech Academy. And in Brooklyn, you have Science, Technology, and Research Early College High School, Medgar Evers College Preparatory School, Queensboro Early College School, and Brooklyn College Academy. In Queens, you have Bard High School Early College, Townsend Harris High School, Bayside High School, and Baccalaureate School for Global Education. There are currently no schools listed as a screened public high school in Staten Island. How do you apply for these schools? You will list them on the high school application along with the open non-screened schools. You must view each school's requirements that you select, as they have their own assessment that must be completed in addition to the application. What are these assessments that I'm referring to? 5 of the consortium schools, Beacon, Eastside Community, Institute for Collaborative Education, School of the Future, and University Heights Secondary, both Bard High School Early College schools in Manhattan and Queens, Townsend Harris High School, and Baccalaureate School for Global Education are the only high schools collecting assessments through the Additional Materials tab in My School. If you go there, you will find what their assessment is. These 5 consortium schools are all using the same assessment, so it needs to be completed once regardless of how many consortium schools you're applying to. Bard Early College High Schools, Townsend Harris High School, and Baccalaureate School for Global Education are all using the same common writing assessment, so applicants can complete and use the same writing task for all 4 schools. Applicants must complete a distinct video, though, for Townsend Harris High School, for the Baccalaureate School for Global Education, and a distinct video for the BARDs. These videos cannot be shared between these schools. What do these assessments typically consist of? It varies by school, but it can include weighing a student's grade point average, a written essay, online admissions activity, humanities writing assessment, STEM writing assessment, a recorded video, or an interview. Let's take a look at the site to see what this looks like. Page for looking at the schools that require assessments, the screen schools. Now, when you scroll down on the page, you're actually going to see the list of all the schools that use assessments as part of their admissions program, in addition to the high school applications. You could look at each school and what their selection criteria actually entails. So you can see here, just for example, won't go through the entire list, but you can see here that Eastside Community School in Manhattan only uses 100% essay. The assessment information over here for them is right here. Also, you can go visit their My Schools page, and you can also, if you want, click on this, or you can go to Google and search the school and go to their website to get more information as well. But this is how you would look at what the assessment criteria is per school. And then again, in the presentation I mentioned which of those schools all share like a common essay or a common assessment. What else is considered for student offers at screened public high schools? Some schools have set aside seats for priority groups with a diversity admissions process, which will be considered for a certain % of their incoming student population. Usually, this can be based on the school lunch application, so make sure you have filled it out online or on the paper form. This is the actual page that you will go to in order to fill out your lunch school application. You can start by either putting in your state or your zip code. I'm putting in 11379 for locally here in Middle Village, and I'll start my search. And then it'll tell you to choose your school district. So for over here for New York City, you'll click on the first one, which says New York City schools. It gets confusing when you see the long list because you start end up looking for like something else, but it's right here at the very top, New York City schools. Then select district and continue. And then you'll be able to actually begin the process for the actual application. And remember, this is really important because a lot of schools will use it to see what income you fall into and if they'll be able to place you in a priority group. Specialized public high schools. For specialized high schools, there are 9 in total throughout the 5 New York City boroughs. Who can apply to these schools? A New York City resident, a current 8th grade student, or first time not repeating the grade 9th grade student. I wanted to mention an important note once again about the specialized high schools. The SHSAT is not used to determine admissions to LaGuardia High School. Admission to LaGuardia High School instead is based on auditions and a portfolio. Applicants do not list LaGuardia High School programs or any of the other 8 specialized high schools on their high school application. These schools use the SHSAT exam instead for registration, score rank, and offers. If you need any more information, you can always visit the link at the bottom. 8 of these specialized high schools will require the SHSAT exam to apply and to register. This includes the Bronx High School of Science, the Brooklyn Latin School, Brooklyn Technical High School, High School for Mathematics, Science, and Engineering at City College of New York, High School of American Studies at Lehman College of Queens, High School for the Sciences at York College, Staten Island Technical High School, and Stuyvesant High School. Specialized high schools, again, do not get listed on your high school application. You list them on the exam registration form in the order of your preference. One of the 9 specialized high schools will require an audition and portfolio to apply. Fiorello H. LaGuardia High School of Music and Arts and Performing Arts is the only specialized high school that does not use the SHSAT exam. There are 6 areas that this school focuses their programs on: fine and visual art, vocal music, instrumental music, dance, drama, and technical theater. All of the specialized high schools have their minimum or lowest qualifying score in order to be admitted into their school. For Stuyvesant High School, it's 561. For High School for Mathematics, Science, and Engineering at City College, it's 518. The Bronx High School of Science, 521. High School of American Studies at Lehman College, 510. Brooklyn Technical High School, 503. The Brooklyn Latin School, 493. Queens High School for the Sciences at York College, 527. And Staten Island Technical High School, 521. So how do students get acceptances into these 8 schools that use the SHSAT exam? Offers to these schools are based on the SHSAT scores, preference order on the application, and number of available seats. Offers will be made to students with the highest scores first in descending order to their top schools. If a school fills up, they will no longer send offers. That means any student that had that school as their first choice will now only be able to receive offers from their second choice, and so on. Let's go over an example of what this means. There are 400 seats available at Stuyvesant High School, and 5,000 students took the SHSAT exam. Out of the 5,000 students, only 700 of them had a score between 561 and 530. Of these 700 students, only 400 students can be made offers based on who had the highest scores. The remaining 300 students will be given offers to their second choice school. After you have registered for the SHSAT, you will need to get a ticket. Test tickets will be made available approximately 2 weeks after the registration deadline. Test tickets indicate the testing date, time, location, and testing accommodations if applicable. Parents and guardians can print their test tickets from the Myschools portal, or they can get the printed ticket from their school counselor. Students must take the test on the date and location assigned on their ticket. If you have a date conflict, please report it to your child's school counselor as soon as possible. An example of this could be tax and SHSAT exam conflict. Students must bring their printed test ticket on the day of the test. I have one more thing to say just before you guys go, just to recap quickly to make sure you understand how you're going to apply. So just a quick reminder, the Myschools.nyc website is the website that you will go to in order to apply for all your high schools outside of the charter high schools. So for your non-screened and your screened schools, you're going to go here to access the application, the high school application. And for the specialized high schools that require the SHSAT exam, you're going to go there to register for the exam and list the schools that you want to apply for while you're registering for the SHSAT exam. And for the school that requires just an audition and portfolio, LaGuardia, Foriello H. LaGuardia, you're going to go through there in order to register for your audition, or to also access the information for your portfolio. So that about wraps everything up for today. Charter high schools again and Catholic high schools will be covered in completely separate presentation videos. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to give us a follow, you can find us at our handles, Soar for Growth, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also on LinkedIn. Just remember, you got this. Make your plan, you have the information available, and you'll get through this admissions process. Thank you guys for joining me today. Again, my name is Crystal from Strengthening Opportunities Action Resources. If you have any questions, my contact information is available below. And if you want to donate, we greatly appreciate it. I will provide that link also in the comment section. Thank you guys. Have a great day.